Can we adjourn now?
Yeah, we're gonna do all done? Okay. I'd like to call the March meeting to order with a salute to the flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we get started this evening with the prior minutes of the town board meeting, February 3rd, 2014. Anybody have any questions, comments, corrections? If not,
Move to approve.
motion to approve.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I guess we'll start with the clerk report, Mary, please.
All right. This is the town clerk's report for February 2014. Planning board for lot line adjustment, $100. Dog licensing, $42.50. Town clerk fees, solid waste, $1.50. Oil requests, $1. Check for general fund to the supervisor, $145.50. Paid to New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets for dog surcharges, $17. Paid to Columbia County Solid Waste, $18.50. Total for February, $180.50.
It's less than impressive, Mary.
I know. Sorry about that.
Good. Motion to approve to accept the clerk's report.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Mail review, what do you have?
Which one is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Clermont annual Easter egg event for 2014 is going to be held on Wednesday, April 16th at the Clermont Village Green on Route 9, that's right here, from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. In the event of inclement weather and possible cancellation, the rain date, you can contact myself or Tammy Connolly. Her number's on the flyer and will be posted on the website. We will be drawing they'll have a drawing from the registration for an Easter basket giveaway. Guess how many jelly beans in the jar, and the person that guesses the closest will win them. Peter Rabbit is attending. You may want to take your picture with him. There'll be free refreshments, hot dogs, and beverages. Egg hunt will begin promptly at 6 p.m. So in the event of rain or snow, which we have had in the past, you can call me or Tammy. And yeah, resolution from the town of Saugerties Town Board. They are having a public hearing amending their local law number 3 of the year 1989 for the code of the town of Saugerties. And that hearing will be, if I can find it, on March 5th, 2014 at 6 p.m. and on March 20th, 2014 at 6 p.m. at the Frank D. Greco Senior Citizen Building, Market Street in Saugerties. Changing their zoning. Columbia County Department of Health has their free rabies clinics out now, starting March 15th in Ankrum. I posted it on the website. I have a copy here on the board. And they start March 15th in Ankrum. There's going to be Germantown, Gallatin, Greenport, Ghent, New Lebanon, Clobber, and Philippa, all the way through to November. So if you're interested, get in touch or check the website. Columbia County Soil and Water Conservation District has their annual Bare Root Tree Sale, and the order deadline is March 21st, 2014. For pickup on April 25th and 26th at their office on Route 66 in Ghent. So if you're interested in that, I have flyers on the table where you can give them a call and get one of the flyers, what kind of trees they offer, but usually they're very good. We have done that in the past. That's it. That's everything I have.
Thank you. Okay, correspondence for web committee. Anybody have any comments, suggestions, any updates for the web committee? Anything?
It's been quiet.
Okay. Let's move on to committee reports. Ed, you got anything on that?
No, I don't have anything new.
Okay. Bob?
Yeah, in regards to the park, Morris Associates did put together a proposal for bids package for the swings and the ball surface. I met with him last Monday, and he gave me a copy of what he had and went through it, and with some updates that need to be made. Ray also had looked at it. And I met with him again this morning, and got the updates, went through that, and it's just about ready to go out, with just a couple of minor changes, and I'm gonna take a ride up there tomorrow and go over that with him. And also, I'm sure you're gonna mention it later, but we did get 2 more significant donations since last month for the park.
Yes, I did have
You're
that
gonna,
one.
you're gonna list those, I guess, later. maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
That's it.
Okay, good. And we're gonna set the bid opening date. Would you go over that yet? No.
Yeah, April 17th, I think we said,
We
right?
want to put that out we'll put that up and obviously advertise it, but we can set the date as of now as April 17th at 7 PM, which is a Thursday evening. And all bids will be submitted and opened at that point.
The notice should go out sometime within a week or so, and that'll give about a month for return of bids.
Good.
Is that date in the notice that they prepared, or?
Yes,
It is, okay, April 17th, 7 PM, 7 PM.
yes.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, April 17th, Thursday night.
Be anxious to get those bids back, so good. Thank you, Bob, for following up on that. I know you've done a lot of legwork and back and forth with Morris on that, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Evan?
It's budget season for the schools, so if you're interested in knowing how much money they're planning to take from you next year, you might want to show up and make your voice known.
It's an interesting way to put that.
But truthful.
Okay. All right. Chris, you got anything to go over? Nothing to go over yet? All right. All right. I just want to go over a couple things. Old business. First thing I didn't put on the agenda was just to update everybody on the insurance. Remember last month we decided to raise the deductible on our insurance to save a little bit on the premium. I did get the notice. The change is obviously in the bill, which reflected the credit or the deduction of the amount that we saved. And it is, they sent me a letter in writing, but just let everybody know we did verify it, and the policy was returned to us with a credit amount of $748.54. So that came off the premium, which brought our premium down to $13,279.20. And that obviously was from raising our deductible up to $5,000. So we have a $5,000 deductible on property damage. So I think it's a good move. We all decided to move forward on that, $747 a year. Certainly will add up pretty quickly. We just hope we continue our track record and don't need to use it, the deductible, obviously. So we'll start saving immediately on that. Bridge update. We had our Public Works meeting this past week, and the resolution did not come to the board to proceed with Bingham's Mill Bridge replacement yet. They did bring the report from the engineer that studied the bridge replacement and came up with the numbers. We discussed it thoroughly in committee, and there was concern over the price of the replacement from some supervisors, but we are proceeding to go through till next month to have, they're going to try something new, which is just available this past year to the counties, is to do a design build for a county project, which is for a bridge. Technically, or in the past, we haven't been able to do that. We've always had to do a bid package, send it out and have a bid on, but now counties and municipalities are allowed to do design build, which opens the market up to a lot of new bidders and possibly saving a lot of engineering costs, and they come in, they design it themselves, they can give you the product and say this is what we can build for you at this price. So they think we can maybe do this and save some money by doing this and bidding it that that way. So we are going to have next month, they're going to come back with either some design build prices at that point, or we are going to decide to move ahead with the original thought. But on the committee is also the Germantown supervisor and the Livingston supervisor, which helps because we're all affected, by that bridge being closed.
and they all feel exactly the same. They've had a lot of complaints, there's a lot of interest in that bridge to be open, and we are all in favor of pushing this forward to get this bridge replaced. So I think next month we will have a resolution at some point, one way or the other, to go through the design build or the original way of bidding it out, replacing it. It will be, again, budgeted for a 2015 project. It won't happen this year, but either way, it still is the discussion, and hopefully next month we'll decide to go with one or the other, but we'll certainly be proceeding with that moving forward.
Is that design bid process, you say that's something new?
That's something new that counties
state
and
is
municipalities are
allowed?
allowed to do. It hasn't been able, we haven't been able to use that process.
Okay. Can we use a similar process for that when we do phase 4 and 5 of the park?
I'd have to check. It's possible.
Because that might be nice to let bidders kind of design what, something, we'll give them general idea of what we want, and then have them design and see which one we think we're getting the best plan for the money.
I'd have
Don't
to
we talk
find,
about that
have to
again?
find out about that.
That's not-
Absolutely. It may work out.
We gotta get phase 3 done first.
Well, no, that's a good question, but I'll certainly find that out because it would certainly help us, I
Yeah.
think. Sure. Okay, let's say, park RFP, Bob went over that, we have that, we're working on that, we should have that, like I said, the bids out and have that ready to go here the middle of April. New business, park donations, as far as Bob mentioned, we did receive 2 donations, one last month from Tom Jansen in memory of his father, Alfred T. Jansen, of $1,000. We certainly appreciate that and thank him for that donation to go towards the swings in the park. And tonight I was just handed another donation from Mary and Daniel Howard for $2,000, which we also very much appreciate. Thank you very much. Certainly will help us put towards our current project, and if necessary, we put anything left towards the next project. But yeah, we certainly appreciate your donation. Thank you. And again, we're still soliciting donations informally at this point. We put out a lot of grant applications. We're certainly looking for more, and we'll anybody that's interested, that wants to help us out here. We certainly appreciate any donations we receive, and we will certainly be putting probably a more formal request out for donations once we get past this next phase, when we go for the next, the 4th phase, I'm going to call it, as far as the playground equipment and the other fall service. So, but again, anybody that's certainly able to and feels would feel comfortable giving us a donation to help us out, we certainly appreciate it for the town. Sand and salt update. Obviously, everybody's aware of the weather we've been having. It's been rather difficult. We've been going through a tremendous amount of sand and salt, as is the county. And I just want, everybody I'm sure is aware of it, but, it's certainly going to raise a question with our budget this year as far as the amount that we're spending. We're certainly going to need to address that at the end of the year. We're fine to get through the first part of the year, but I don't think anybody can budget for a year that we've had it like this. We've had $7,000 worth of sand and salt bills, or excuse me, just salt bills in a 1-month period. So it gives you kind of an idea when our total salt budget is $20,000 with sand and salt combined. So we're going to be raising an issue come the fall here to probably come up with a few dollars out of the fund balance to supplement the amount of extra materials we've had to use this year. The county's got the same exact problem. They certainly went through probably half again as much as they thought they would, and we still got a good month of cold weather left. So it's certainly it's going to raise an issue with everybody's budgets this year. But, it is something that's unforeseen. You can't budget for years like this. We've had several years where it was very mild, and we were able to get away without having to spend, a ton of money on sand and salt. So, it is what it is. It's not something we can control. We certainly will deal with it. I'm going to save the local law. I'm going to go into the financial update on the heels of that, because that kind of plays into some of the information I was going to present. Just to give everybody a quick general picture of the finances from last year. 2013, we actually ended up with a surplus in our fund balance and brought our fund balance up $42,000 roughly. A big part of that is we had an unexpected revenue that came in, which was $29,000, which was brownfield reimbursements, which we didn't anticipate or have booked as a revenue, because that was several years backed up that was not accounted for. So we actually had a large extra revenue come in on top of some extra additional sales tax and mortgage tax, which actually made a big difference in helping us out. So we actually had a surplus, which went into our fund balance, which helped offset the money we anticipated taking out. And the highway department also, we anticipated taking $26,000 out of fund balance. We only had to take out $11,000. So we actually decreased that balance less than we thought we would. So right now our fund balances, as far as the general fund, we have a total of $326,000 in the general fund balance, and our highway is $152,000 roughly. So as far as financially, the town is in good shape. We didn't have to use all the money we anticipated using out of for the budget, and we increased our fund balance a little bit. So moving forward this year, I know we raised our anticipation on revenues, and we're certainly not going to have that large bonus revenue that we didn't expect last year. So I think this year's budget is going to be very close to right on what we need, even though we may have to use a little more for the highway, sand and salt, where we had to put some in the bank, so if we have to take a little bit out, we're still going to be in good shape or where we were 2 years ago. So I'm happy, I'm comfortable with the numbers, and I think we're doing a good job on not spending, being conservative with what we spend. That certainly helped carrying over some revenue as well. And if we continue on spending what we need to spend and conservative spending, we'll be in good shape. So that's just a general number. And attached here is a list of all the expenditures listed by category and revenues, you guys, if you need to take a look at all the individual details. And on the back of the budget reports, I put in there as well the Clermont Park Fund, which has a running total of the donations we received in grants, which doesn't include the ones we just got in, but it certainly gives you an idea of what we have set up in the separate accounts.
One of them was Jansen.
Jansen was on there, I'm sorry,
Right,
yes.
we got the next
The last one we just received was not from Mary, thank you. So, but other than that, like I said, I think we're in good shape. We're running, pretty much where we thought we'd be, if not just a hair better, which is always a good thing. So it's good continuing forward. All right, local law. I do want to set a public hearing for a local law. We have to put in place. We've actually had this in place once before. Back when we had an assessor that did more than one town, assessed more than one town. We now have that same problem again. So our assessor, obviously, if people don't know, should know, she is also doing the assessments for Hudson now. So come grievance day, creates an issue because obviously she can't be in two places at once. So we elected to take and move our grievance day, like we did previously in the local law, to the following Tuesday after the regular grievance day, which would be May 6th. So
June 6th.
June 6th. June 6th? No, that's not the right date.
June 3rd,
June
the
3rd?
actual date.
June 3rd, I'm
June
sorry.
3rd.
All right, June 3rd.
Because grievance day
For
normally
some
is
reason I had the wrong date.
normally the fourth Tuesday in May. So
Okay.
it's Tuesday following the fourth Tuesday in May, which happens to be June 3rd.
That is the correct
That's the way you
wording.
gotta word it.
So this will be local law number 1 of 2014. So there's a set of public hearing for 7 p.m. April 2nd, which is going to be our board meeting in April, which will just remind everybody we're changing again. But April 2nd at 7 p.m. will be the public hearing for local law number 1 to modify the hearing date of the Board of Assessment Review, which will be June 3rd, the following Tuesday, right?
Yes,
So,
the Tuesday following the fourth Tuesday in
following
May.
4th Tuesday.
So that wording that stays, we don't have to do another law next year, right?
That'll stay in place.
It won't be June 3rd next year, but it will
Right,
still be the
'cause there's
Tuesday
no
after
date
the.
mentioned.
That's why they do it with
Yeah.
the 4th Tuesday. I just mentioned the date. So people,
Yeah,
but
and there may even come a year when the 5 Tuesdays and we'll actually have it in May.
Mm-hmm,
that could be. Over the next 5 or 6 years, it could be. Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
so you never have to.
That's why they
change
word it that way. And it'll stay that way until we change it back, which we did previously after we went to a sole assessor. We, our own assessor, we changed it back, but now we're going to put it back to where it was. So, we have the local law hearing set. I do want to just remind everybody that we do have, our meeting next month will be moved to the April 2nd, which is a Wednesday night. Only because we have a conflict, I have a conflict and can't be here the first Monday. So, and it actually works out better because this local law needs to be in place so the assessor can send out notices, which she wants to send out in the beginning of April, early April, so, for the assessment revamp. So we will be meeting at 7 PM, April 2nd, Wednesday night.
And we're also setting a special meeting, we will do that now too?
Yep, we can set the special meeting for the 17th, was it? 17th.
April 17th at 7 o'clock.
We're gonna set a special meeting April 17th for bid openings for the playground equipment, on 7 PM, 7 PM, April 17th. Thursday evening, 7 PM. Got that?
April 17th.
April 17th, 7 PM.
7, yeah.
Just a quick update on the reassessment reval. We had a meeting here this was last week. The assessor, state came down, Suzette from Real Property came down. They're just finalizing all the numbers. Everything looks good. They have most of the information completed. They're just readjusting some of the formulas they use to calculate the assessments. It does look like the majority of the assessments will, if not remain the same, go down a hair, which doesn't mean your taxes are gonna go down. It just means the overall town value is probably gonna drop a little bit, if not stay flat. It is not going up. The assessment numbers, the formulas they're using from sales and comparables, is showing that the market is basically flat or went down a hair for this area. So again, it doesn't mean your taxes are going down. They will remain the same, they won't go up, but unless your taxes were raised, or your assessment was raised, which would be, probably the only reason would be for an improvement, addition, garage, pool, something like that, which would raise your assessment. Other than that, I think everybody's taxes should remain fairly flat or the same. Should be no increase, unless you fall in a couple dozen people out of town category.
The school tax will probably go up a little bit.
School tax, unfortunately, we have no say about, that's probably,
But fortunately, I did check with the assessor in Red Hook, and he's expecting to stay level where we're trending down slightly, so that'll help us. a
that
little
may
bit.
give us a few dollar credit as far as.
Yeah, but
Red Hook
it'll
School
probably
District.
still go up as it did last year.
And Germantown, I believe, is going with a flat school tax, so I mean, they should have no increase. So, and county tax, as far as the county tax goes, they voted for, I'm gonna say they, because I was one of the only ones that voted against the budget increase, but the county tax will have a slight increase as well. Again, that's, it should be a fairly comfortable, well, it's never a comfortable tax bill. Let's see, what's the correct wording? I don't know. No tax.
Not as bad as it could be.
Not as bad as it could be. Let's put it that way. All right. The last thing on the new business, I'd like to make an appointment to the planning board. Brenda Case has resigned, as she sent a letter and resigned from the position 2 months ago. After slipped past me last month, we should have filled it, but we do have a vacancy on the planning board. I would like to make that appointment to Mary Howard to the planning board to finish out the term through December 31st, 2015.
You want a motion for that?
Please.
So we'll.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We are going to have to set up an interview process, or at least an interview day or night or Saturday or Thursday for the zoning board alternate position. We do have a couple people interested in that at this point. So I would like to try to set that up. And I like to talk to the people that are interested first to make sure they can make the date before I do that. So it's not something that we have to do right away, so I'll wait till next month to actually set that up. But just to let everybody know, we will set up an interview process for that and see if we can't get everybody that's interested in it to take a look at that. So we'll work on that for this month. I'll get a hold of everybody. That's that. Supervisor report. just to update, a few things going on in the county. Courthouse is one of the bigger issues. We took a tour this last Friday of the courthouse. They're considering it to be substantial completion by the end of this month, end of March. And I tell you, I went through the courthouse and looked around. They're doing a nice job. It looks very nice, but I think they have quite a bit to finish up in the next month. I don't know how many people are working there at this point. I haven't seen all the crews there, but they certainly need a pretty good crew to finish it up by the end of March. There's a lot of finish work to do, coatings, finishings, and substantial completion is not 100% complete. Obviously, they had a hard time finishing the outside work that they couldn't do because of this winter. It's been unrealistic to do concrete work or to finish up the details outside. So, but they do think it's going to be a substantial, which they keep using substantial completion by the end of the month. We're targeting a move-in date of June 16th, I think is the date the courthouse will be back in full operation. It's a full move back and everything open back up. I think that's a good, reasonable date by the time they finish up all the odds and ends and troubleshoot everything. But there has been talk about looking at window replacement. I don't think at this point, we were trying to figure out if we could do it, if it fits in the budget. We could maybe get this window project done as well and replace the windows before they move back in. I don't see that happening because at this point we still don't have the concrete number. They came back with some bids. It was in the $400,000 range, $450,000 range to replace all the windows. We're getting close to the budget cap on this project, and our last meeting there was a discrepancy between our controller and the architect that's in charge of the job where the numbers were. One said we had an extra $300,000, one said we were about $300,000 over. So we would be over if we did the windows. Right now, we don't have an answer to that yet. They're working that out, the details out, so we couldn't decide to move forward with the windows or not. Because if we don't have the money, we can't go over the budget. That's the end of the discussion. So if the money is available that fits in the budget cap, we may award a bid to do the windows, but I don't think they'll be completed by the time we move in. And they can work on those room by room while it's occupied, do the important ones first. I don't think it's a good way to do it, but I mean, it's going to take 2 months to get the windows made, and then they're going to have a month to work on it before they move in. So it's going to be very tight. So again, I don't have an answer if we're even proceeding with that at this point. As we left it, we had to get a justification on the numbers and a verification on these numbers before we do anything. So, so at this point, we're not doing anything. We're waiting to get that verification back.
Would it be possible to do some of them if there's some areas that would be more disruptive to do later than?
We had it broke out in a bid that first floor, second floor, yes. So we may end up doing like one of the floor, the courtroom where they're actually in court, work on obviously the more.
Whatever would be less.
Whatever would be more intrusive.
More disruptive later.
Right. So that is all broke out of there. So again, if the money's in the budget, I do think that we're going to proceed with this because it should be done. I mean, there's if you look at those windows, some of those windows are 10 foot tall, they're 6 foot wide. There's a tremendous amount of heat loss. There's single pane. There's no noise value. I mean, they really are old, undesirable windows. So it should be done. So if we verify the money is in the budget available, we will probably award that bid and proceed with it. Pine Haven. Pine Haven proceeds. The architects are proceeding with the drawings on the new Pine Haven. I was asked if I would chair the subcommittee to get the numbers together and work on this project, and I declined to take that position. Talking to many of the supervisors and a lot of the information that's being provided to us at this point, there's been a lot of pullback from the support on moving ahead with this project. The financials, we've had financial advisors come in saying that the funding's being cut. We're going to project to lose $4 to $5 million over the next 5 years, and a year on Pine Haven if we build a new one. A lot of the supervisors are of the frame of mind that we either have to sell this, privatize it, or just get out of the business because we can't afford to pay for this. And I agree because I don't say I agree. I agree with their thought because, $4 to $5 million, if it comes true, which nobody knows what the funding's really gonna do, is about a 12% increase in the county tax rate. Because it would have to be a tax increase to cover that kind of money. And that's gonna, that's not acceptable. I mean, there's no way we can go to taxpayers and say, hey, we gotta raise 10% of your taxes to do this. But again, I don't agree with some of these numbers they're putting out there because, I mean, they're all speculating on what Medicaid's gonna do in 2 or 3, 4 years. The trend is, it looks like it's gonna be going down, which I could agree with, but the numbers they're providing are completely out of the air. I mean, you're just grasping at numbers. We have asked the administrator to come up with cost savings, which he has. He's pointed out ways to save money, which they didn't figure in. And I feel that we could build, if we can build the project on budget, which is another question because the budget is about $30,500,000. Right now we're projected at $32 million and change. We have to get it scaled back to get it into the cap for the budget. If we can do it for the, build it for the cap, I think we can build a project and we can support it without losing any money compared to what they're projecting. I mean, we may lose $1 million a year, which we've been losing, but I'm not ready to get out of the nursing home business. I think it's one thing that we can offer our seniors in the county as a guaranteed good quality place to go to in their final years. I've taken that stance from day one, and I still support that because I don't see the numbers that they're projecting coming true. So I think, and there's a couple supervisors still support my feeling as well, that we should continue, build it on budget, and 3, 4, 5 years down the road, if the revenues turn out to be the worst case scenario, then you look to privatize and sell it out, and then at that point get out of the business. But at this point, we can't continue in the home we're in, so we have to make our decision at this point. And every day that goes by, we don't make the decision to go forward, we're losing money because architects are continuing to design this new building, and we're paying them to do this, and we have to make up the decision. And we have the next meeting is going to be what is it going to be? April 24th, not till March 20th is going to be the next date, I think it is, that we're going to meet and we're going to make the decision, are we moving forward or not? And that's where we're going to have the rest of the numbers come in. So we're going to have another presentation to tell us what they think the numbers are going to be, and we're going to make that decision to move forward or not at that point. So that is why I declined to take over that committee, because I just, after talking with all the supervisors that I've spoke to, the general feeling is that some of them just feel we should be out of business completely. And I don't agree with that either. And I think it's going to be just a fight all the way around. So I'll keep everybody updated on that and let you know how it progresses next month. The airport has finally came to a decision what they wanted to present as a resolution to the board. I got a copy of it, as a matter of fact, today in an email. They have decided to put a resolution forth to the board, the special committee that they have for the airport, not to buy meadow greens or go through eminent domain for meadow greens. They decided that they could shorten the runway by 350 feet, move the safety zone south a couple hundred feet, and still end up with a 5,000-foot runway, which will save the county taxpayers money because we won't have to go through the purchasing of any additional property that's not ours. I think it's a great solution. I haven't been following this 100%, but talking to Art Basson, who's head of this committee, and there's been a lot of interaction in this committee. I think they've come up with a real good solution, and I just hope that the full board will pay attention to these details, because I think it's the right way to go. We do not need to buy or take more property by eminent domain that we don't really need. So I think that that's a great solution, and I commend them for the job they did on that, because I think it's a win for everybody. Highway Department, Public Highway, again, same thing. They had a lot of issues with the sand and salt problems, equipment. They just came in to purchase 2 new trucks this month, which they do on a replacement schedule, and it's certainly warranted. You see, they have 20 trucks on the road. You figure out how many years it takes to replace 20 trucks. You got to keep them on a replacement schedule, and, they just have normal maintenance wear and tear. They certainly need to be upgraded. And this goes to the county highway department and our town highway department. I just would like to point out that, those guys did a tremendous job, especially this past month, all the work they've done. It's been a tremendous amount of hours, and, I know a lot of people feel, well, that's their job, and, they get compensated for it, but I do a lot of plowing personally, and I know how many hours I spent in my truck, and these guys really, it takes a toll on you. I don't care what what you're being paid or overtime or whatever, but it's a lot of hard work, and it does, they could sitting in a truck for 20 hours is a tough job, but it really does get to you, and I certainly thank them and the county workers as well for the job they've done.
I'd like to add to that, they've also had a couple of problems with the trucks, and they fixed them themselves
Yeah.
and gotten them right back on the road. And those guys, they really do a tremendous job. Three highway guys plus one or two supplementals.
Part-timers, yeah, part-time help. Yeah. No, it's been a tough winter. Summer help. I want to mention that the summer help program has been funded again this year. Every year, there's what we call summer help program. Any senior that is enrolled in college for the fall, if they're looking for some part-time work in the county, each supervisor is allowed to nominate one person from their town if they're interested for part-time work. And again, they have to be a senior that's enrolled in college in the fall that would like some part-time work. It could be anything from working with the highway department to office work. They've had multiple different positions, working in planning and tourism, just about anything. So if somebody has like a major they're looking for to go into college, if they certainly want to get a hold of me, let me know. I can certainly see if there's anything in the county that would be fitting for their college.
When you say they're senior, they're just completing their junior year, and they're going to be going into the senior year?
No, high school to college.
Oh, high school to college.
Anybody that's senior in high school going to college in the fall.
Okay.
But they have to be enrolled in a college.
Okay.
So, many years, we've had nobody to nominate. I've actually nominated somebody from Livingston, I think it was last year. But, if there's anybody in Clermont, I'd certainly be glad to talk to them, to nominate them if there's something I can help them with to get a part-time job for the summer. Have them contact me here at the town hall, come in and see Mary, give me a phone call. Certainly glad to do what I can. That's it. Just want to mention again, Mary already went over the Easter egg hunt on the April 16th, 5:30 to 6:30. It's a Wednesday night at 16th. So it actually worked out well last year. I was kind of wondering, we usually do it on a weekend, but they actually had a bigger turnout on the weeknight than they did on the weekend the previous year, I think it was. So it worked out real well, and I hope it fits in people's schedule, and we'll get it advertised early, and we should hopefully get a nice crowd here, and the weather cooperates.
What date is that again?
April 16th.
April 16th.
April 16th.
You use brown eggs so they can find them in the snow?
You never know. It may still be snow. You never know.
It's
Let's hope
happening.
not. Let's hope not. Okay, I guess that's all I have to update everybody on. Move on to motion for abstracts.
I move that we pay highway abstract number 3, vouchers numbers 12 through 29, in the amount of $14,915.93.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Make a motion that we pay general abstract number 3, voucher numbers 40 through 80, and total amount, total amount of $24,897.70.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Hope we don't have too many months like that.
A lot of oil and salt and sand in there.
Yes.
Okay, move on to public comment. Public communications, comments to the board. Any public comment? If there's no comment, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So we'll,
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Who was the second? Evan, or-